Hello again, how are we all doing? Hope you're well. It's Gavin again from Lucid Computer Solutions, and I have another exciting unboxing and mini review video for you. And that is for the HP 250 G9 laptop. And without further ado, here it is, freshly delivered, ready for us to take a look at. We'll get some first impressions. We'll talk about the spec and who this might be suitable for and who it probably isn't for. So let's get this out. Comes in the lovely usual kind of cardboardy packaging and is wrapped up in this lovely bit of cellophane plastic. Right, so let's have a look at this. So yeah, the HP 250 G9, and it's a 15-inch laptop, so 15.6 inch full HD screen. Let's take a look here. That's as it comes delivered. I will take off the protection bit of cloth on the keyboard and we can have a proper look at it there. So there we go. It's my first impressions are it's quite a nice looking machine. Looks quite cool. Looks a little bit I want to say a little bit like a MacBook, a tiny bit like a MacBook, I suppose. But yeah, so spec of this particular model, the HP 250 G9. Now the spec of this is really, really high. It's really, really good. So it's got an i7 12th generation processor in it. So in real world terms, that means a really, really, really quick processor. So that's going to be good pretty much for every single business user out there, without a doubt. So yeah, ultra fast processor. It also comes with 16 gig of RAM in it. So normally you'd probably go for 8 gig of RAM. This one has 16 gig in it out of the box. So again, complemented with that i7 processor, 16 gig of RAM is plenty. And again, in business use terms, that is more than enough. And it also has a 512 gigabyte SSD ultra fast hard drive in it as well. So i7 processor, 16 gig of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD drive. That is going to be super quick and really good for most businesses out there. It will be super fast. It's going to do, all of your usual Microsoft Officey stuff, no problem at all. If you've got like accountancy packages, it will run them fine. How it would cope with CAD stuff would remain to be seen. If it's really intensive, the likes of AutoCAD or something like that, other products are available. Because it doesn't have that really beefy graphics card in, it might not be great with that, but I still think it would probably handle it okay, genuinely, because of the processor and the RAM and the hard drive. Yeah, as I mentioned, 15.6 inch screen on that, which is full HD. And weight of it, no, I'm not a human scale. This is me. Oh, how much does it weigh? I'm just going to use my arms now. So the weight is about 1.8 kilograms roughly. HP put on their spec sheets, it starts from like 1.74 kilograms or something, but I'm going to say this is probably about 1.8 kilograms. So it's not super light, but then it is a 15-inch laptop. You have to bear that in mind. So, but it's not super heavy either. I'm holding that with one hand, look. No problem at all. Yes, I notice I'm holding it, but is it like, offensively heavy? No, it's not. It's not. And if this was in my laptop bag or in my backpack, I wouldn't really notice it. So yeah, it is 1.8 kilograms, but that's not the end of the world for me. Keyboard. So this is the first time I've seen this laptop. It's the first time I've ever used it. So I haven't done a proper typing test on it, but with it being a kind of mid-range laptop, I'd expect the keyboard to be of decent quality. And just my initial little go with the keyboard like this, it does actually feel all right. It does feel quite nice. My concern always with laptop keyboards is whether they're too cramped or not. But because this is a 15-inch laptop and you can see it's got the nice kind of tiled effect to the keys, it is in no way cramped. It looks fine. I suppose personally for me, because I'm a sucker for a keyboard, I would like it to be a full size enter key. So it's the stripped down one here. I would prefer it to be a full size one like you get on a normal full keyboard. But hey, you can't have it all, and it is a laptop. And as some of you will know, if you subscribe to the channel, and if you don't subscribe, please do, it's down there. And don't forget, if you smash the like button on this, you'll get lots of benefits which don't exist. You'll just be doing me a favour, so please smash the like button as well. Yeah, if you've watched some of my other videos, you will know I'm not a huge fan of 15-inch laptops. I prefer a 14-inch, maybe 13, but 14 is the sweet spot for me. I don't like having the number pad on a laptop keyboard because I just find it. I just feel like it shouldn't be there. But in the real world, there are lots of people who do want the number pad. I know the person who's going to be getting this laptop really wants a number pad for what they do in terms of their job. So for them, it's perfect, and they want that. And like, you know, as with all of these videos, it is only opinions. You know, just because I prefer a 14-inch laptop, it doesn't mean you have to get one, just to be clear on that. So yeah, they'll be really happy with this laptop, 100%. But yeah, not quite for me. Now, what I would say is, as I've just said, I'm not a huge fan of 15-inch laptops, but if I had to have a 15-inch laptop, I would definitely have this on my shortlist. I like the build quality, I like the look of it, I like the high spec, and I like the price tag, which we'll get to in a second. So actually, whilst I'm not a big fan of 15-inch laptops, this would be on my shortlist. One thing let's just have a quick look at, which we've not talked about, is connectivity on this. So you can see on the side there, we've got a couple of USB ports, and we've got an SD card slot as well. And on the other side here, it's got one of my favorite things, a full Ethernet port. I love it when a laptop has a proper Ethernet port on it, so that's great. HDMI port, USB Type-C port, and a headphone jack over here as well. So connectivity on this laptop is also really good. No complaints there really. It got everything you need. For me, being a bit of a geek, I like the fact it has the Ethernet port on it. It's got HDMI port, which is good for most monitors. So that's great. And yeah, you know, a couple of USB ports and a USB Type-C port should be enough for most people. So again, just to stress that, as you can see, the weight of this, I'm noticing it a little bit on my arm now because I've been whittering away on this video for about 7.5 minutes, and I am starting to notice it. But again, just to stress, how often would you be having a laptop in one hand like this for a prolonged period of time? You just wouldn't. I can still hold it okay with one hand given the size and the weight of it, just to stress that. So price, we've gone through the basic specs there, talked about what I like about it. Like I said, I think it is a decent machine. Spec wise, in fact, I'll take that back, it's a really good spec, so therefore the spec wise it's a really good machine. So how much is this? Again, now prices are only ever as good as the day you film the video, i.e. today, so just bear that in mind. So this one we got for, I think, just under £850. So £850, which gets you HP laptop of really good build quality, what feels like a really good keyboard to me. i7 12th generation processor with that 16 gig of RAM and that 512 gigabyte SSD hard drive with all the connectivity and ports on it. I think that's really good value, because normally if you were spending £500-600 on a laptop, whilst that will still be decent and adequate for many people, this, to pay the extra couple of £100, let's say for argument's sake, to move up to an i7 processor with a 16 gig of RAM and have it as a well-known and trusted brand, in my opinion, I think that's worthwhile. I think just under £850 is actually pretty good value given the spec. Like I said, you have to. And what I'd say to you is, make sure you're going to make use of the spec. If all you do is open a few Chrome tabs and, you know, do a bit of work within a browser and do a bit of shopping and read a bit of news, this is probably over spec for you, and you don't need to spend this much money. You will get a very similar machine of lower spec, like I've just said, for a couple of £100 less. But if you need the higher spec because you have some beefy applications to run, or you run multiple applications at any given time, then yeah, I would simply say to add this to your shortlist of potential 15-inch laptops. Right, I'm going to wrap things up. I've talked for far too long. I hope that gives you a basic overview and basic impressions of this laptop. As I said, I've been Gavin from Lucid Computer Solutions. Please do subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Please do smash that like button for me. It really helps us grow the channel. And feel free to comment on the video. I do read them. I do try and get back to people when I have time. Ask any questions you might have about this laptop, and feel free to make any alternative recommendations that you might have. Right, that is me done for today. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.